What's happening, guys? Supernova here, and welcome to my impressions of the Anthem Open Demo. As we get into this video, let me start by saying you're going to hear me compare this game to Destiny a lot. And let's be real, that's because this game is a direct competitor to Destiny. They're effectively competing for the same space in the gaming market. Now, looking at the social space here, the map appears to be a pretty good size. And I'm going to call it a quote-unquote social space, even though I don't know if it's like this for the demo or if it'll be within the live game. You'll see there's no social aspect to it. It's just me and NPCs. It's not like when you go to the tower in Destiny and you can see other players, other guardians, walking around, going to merchants, visiting Cade 6, things like that. This is just me and the computer. And I don't know if that's going to change. Also, small nitpick, the speed at which you can move. For me, it's just a little too slow. And I can imagine if you were going from one end of the map to the other in the social space, this would probably get annoying after a little while. But that's just a small nitpick. Now we've entered what's called the Forge. This is where you're going to come to customize your javelins, which is what the mechanized suits you wear are called. You can do everything here from change your weapon loadout to customizing the way you look. Something this game does very differently from Destiny that I actually like is how it handles changing classes. In Destiny, you have 3 class types: Hunter, Warlock, and Titan. If you want to change classes, you have to quit all the way out to the main menu, select the class you want, and then reload everything. In this game, you have 4 classes: Ranger, Colossus, Storm, and Interceptor. And you can easily switch classes right inside the Forge before you embark on your next quest. While in the weapon select menu, I noticed something pretty cool. On top of equipping weapons earned and purchased in-game, you also have the ability to craft weapons if you found the blueprints for them. The demo doesn't really let us see how the system works, but it's something to keep an eye out for when the game launches. The customization of your javelins is where this game really schools Destiny. Compared to Destiny, this game is like Need for Speed when it comes to personalizing your character, and that there are a ton of options. For example, in Destiny, when you choose colors, they can be applied to each section of your armor, so head, chest, arms, and legs. But how the color is applied to each piece is up to how the developers chose, and not necessarily how you wanted. Also, once you use a color, it's depleted. In Anthem, not only are you able to choose up to 6 individual areas, you can also choose the material type, and then choose your color. And you can do this as many times as you like, as the colors don't disappear after being used. You can even choose your javelin's appearance. Do you want to look dirty, clean, brand new? You have the choice. Then you have decals that can be applied to your javelins, which range from subtle to looking like your javelin just got wrapped. This is light years better than what Destiny offers. It makes for a crazy amount of personalization compared to similar games. Now let's hop in our javelin and try out a mission. After choosing to start Expedition, you're brought to a map where you can choose from available missions. You can also choose the difficulty, of which there are more than you would expect. And then you can once again choose to start Expedition. Now, starting with flight, I'm going to be honest. I've heard other people talking about how good flying feels. To me, it just feels okay, nothing amazing. I mean, I get nowhere near the same satisfaction as I do, let's say, swinging around New York in PS4 Spider-Man. And I love flying games. Like, I've been all about ace combat since when it was still called air combat. I also really get annoyed with the overheating of your suit when flying, causing you to have to land for a second. I can't fault the game too much for that because I assume you're going to be getting upgrades later on that can extend how long you can fly before overheating, but still, as flying is your main mode of transportation, for me it was just annoying. Like, I can understand them wanting you to explore the world they have created, not just fly by everything, but I'll say this, if they build a badass world, I'm going to want to explore it. Unfortunately, for what I've experienced here, it feels a little more on the empty side. Also, as you can see, I experienced issues with lag, and my internet speed is not an issue. They didn't happen the whole time, but did occur more than I would have liked. The shooting in the game felt okay. The control scheme bothered me more than anything. The inputs are mapped in a way that for me isn't very intuitive, and they can't be remapped. I'm playing on PS4, so for example, melee, which is usually circle or R3, is instead triangle. Switching weapons, which is usually triangle, is instead a long press of square. I mean, you get used to it after a little bit, but for me, it still just felt a little bit weird. I really wish more developers would give us the freedom to map the controls however we want. On the visual side, as you can see, the game is very good looking. Everything in the game looks very, very polished. Sound design is pretty good too. The only issue I had was with the characters speaking. At times you would have characters communicating with you while you're in combat, and they had this kind of mechanized robotic effect added to their voice that sometimes made it hard to hear what they were saying. Other than that though, the game sounds fantastic. Lighting and particle effects particularly shine. Between the muzzle flash of your gun, tracer rounds, bullet ricochets, and explosions created by grenades, there's a lot for your eyes to like. I did experience a couple of game crashes, but this game has a feature I wasn't expecting that was actually really awesome. In Destiny, for example, if you're booted from a server, or if the game crashes on you, you have to log all the way back in, then find who you were playing with, if you can remember who they were, and then choose to rejoin them. When I booted Anthem back up, I was greeted by this. I skipped the loading, but as you can see with one click, it dropped me right back into the game where I was before the game crashed. The game unfortunately crashed again 2 minutes later, but hey, this is still an awesome feature. So overall impressions, it's a mixed bag for me. The customizations, visuals, audio, and some of the features are all top notch. But I honestly just didn't have that much fun playing Anthem. I wanted to, I was hoping to, but I didn't. And it really bums me out too, because I was very excited to play this Iron Man game. Then there are the unknowns that worry me. If you've watched one of my previous videos, you'll know how I feel about EA. One of the main things we weren't able to see was the store where you purchase items. As much as I want to hope it won't happen, I fear EA is going to ruin the game with microtransactions. This is, after all, the same EA who was charging $1 for a red dot in Black Ops 4. In the end, is this going to be a day one for me like I was planning? Not anymore. And it's not all the game's fault. It doesn't help that there's an avalanche of games releasing a week before Anthem does, but I think unfortunately, I'm going to hold off on this one for a little bit. Well, that's the video, guys. Let me know what you thought in the comments. Feel free to like, share, and subscribe, and we'll catch you on the next Supernova.